All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the NAIAFBALL live show, powered by AdCraft Custom Apparel and Merch, your choice for custom apparel, merch, and uniform outfitting since 1974. I am, John's on his way, but I figured I'd go ahead and get it started. I do want to go ahead and I do want to show this off because I'm wearing my AdCraft shirt tonight, but there's just something about it's a little weird getting a shirt in and having your face on the back of it. So let me see if I can get around here so y'all can see it. I believe that's our national championship picks right there on the shirt. But we are so thankful for them and their friendship and their sponsorship. So heads, and here comes John. John, go ahead and close the door for me. We talk about Johnny Sullivan being, his parents being some of the fine folks on AdCraft, but also Rocky Schoenfelder, the linebacker, the same family. Welcome, John. It is it was a bit of a adventurous week in the land of NAI football, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely wacky out there in the frontier.
And I thought coming into the week that it wasn't going to be that great of a week. We didn't have a lot of what to watch for.
Honestly, outside the frontier, nothing really, no huge surprises, I thought, besides the Langston game.
Yeah. So we'll get to that right here in a second. So let's take a look at where we're going here. Yeah. Papa Dolanchek thought we had to get out of jail here.
Yeah, I love it. No, just had to get the food, man.
Yeah. No, last week he was.
Last week, yeah.
Last week with it.
My very rich co-host took a very lavish vacation.
Yeah. Your very rich co-host's parents own an RV.
There you go.
That's all there is to it.
Wish mine did.
Let's get to it. St. Thomas Ave Maria, man. 55-33.
What about lighting up the scoreboard? And Rontavious Farmer, man, he is living in the triple digits this year.
He really is.
Running all over folks. Not only did he did this to Ave Maria this week, he did it to Kaiser too.
Yeah.
So St. Thomas has been absolutely impressive at the line of scrimmage this year.
Absolutely. Tyler Thomas getting it done. Just over 50% passing. But they were effective when they had to be 9 of 16 on third and fourth down conversions. That's good for 56%. And, dude, if you get over 50% on third and fourth down conversions, you're probably going to be pretty successful.
And I think Ave Maria showed a lot, too, just because, they're 4-1 entering this game, but no big marquee win. The best win so far, I believe, was Weber.
Yeah.
And, I thought just trying to keep pace there with St. Thomas for a little bit showed me that, the program's heading in the right direction for the Gyrenes.
The other really big one, Bethel.
Now, this was a surprise to me. Just seeing how Thomas More just lost to Lindsey Wilson 12-3, and then Bethel just goes out and handles them. Thomas Moore's been scrappy all season long. What a dominant performance by Bethel.
To be fair, this has been a Thomas More team that's been up and down all year.
Right.
That defense, holy cow, that defense for Bethel, 2.3 yards per play allowed, 4 turnovers forced, 18% third and fourth down conversions allowed. It was just lights out.
Man, how do you get 3 receptions for 131 yards?
That's about 40
stat.
yards. It's about 40 yards catch there. That's a good one right there. And then we had the first of our upsets here, and that's going to be Langston and Out of Arizona. And
Langston will say, game. Is that an upset?
Yeah, I know they will.
I know.
It's a technical upset. An overtime game, Langston was down early to Ottawa. It comes back in the game. Just a great game for quarterbacks. I mean, Larry Harrington, 387 yards, 4 touchdowns through the air, 1 on the ground. Isaiah Randall, 264 yards, almost 50 attempts, 3 touchdowns and a pick. It was just a great night to air the ball out.
In all of the NAIA, the top 3 in the Sooner has been living up there high in the offensive statistical categories.
Yeah, don't they always? Ottawa's defense, credit to them, 8.5 tackles for loss and 7 sacks. This was just an incredibly close game, and the team that had it last basically won it.
Yeah, Ottawa, I think, jumped up on Langston.
Yeah.
Like they were going to handle them for a little bit, and Langston comes roaring back, and our group chat fires up, and our DM is like, what's happening out there, out west?
Yeah, absolutely. But then let's talk a little bit about what I'm calling upset Saturday.
Oh,
here
man, here we go.
With the rest of them here. Montana Western handles College of Idaho 40-35. John Junt throws for 354, 4 touchdowns, rushes 10 times for 48 yards. My man Trey Mounts with 179 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Let me just say this about College of Idaho. I think they had a little insurance policy going on.
Oh, they did.
You know what I'm saying? They're up a couple games. With Rocky Mountain losing as well.
Mm-hmm.
But can a team like Montana Western make that late push? Of course, they got the win over Dickinson State. Can they make a late push within conference? You never know.
It's going to be really hard. If we look at the Frontier, College of Idaho wins with either 2 wins and a Carroll loss,
right,
or just 3 wins.
Right.
There are 3 teams in second with 2 losses. College of Idaho has beaten all 3 but plays 1, Carroll, again.
Who just had the huge, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, we have to have at least 1 College of Idaho loss for anyone else to be back in contention.
Right.
So they've still got a little bit of...
I would say College of Idaho just cashed in on insurance policy. I'm sure they don't want to mess up again.
Yeah, I mean, that makes that showdown against Carroll at the end of the year.
Huge. Could be the Frontier Conference Championship game in the vault.
Now, you said, John, that they were all in the Frontier. Well, nay. Cumberland's upsets number 11 Georgetown 24-23.
Talk about, we thought Georgetown, who still has a chance to get an at-large bid, no doubt.
It's close.
But this really hampers. It's tough having 2 losses, getting an at-large bid with only 4 spots available.
Yeah.
At minimum.
Yeah, and so Marty Smith, 19 attempts, 66 yards. The defense for Cumberland's, 5 sacks, 9 tackles for loss, really getting it done. Just not a great game.
It's like Georgetown, but all credit to Cumberland's here. I think that's a program that's just constantly, slowly getting better. And what a win for their head coach.
Yeah, Shan
From where he
Housekeeper.
came, yeah.
Getting that win. Now our next game we head back up to the North. Carroll.
What about the goose egg?
Blanks Rocky Mountain. George Tribble was 6 of 18 for 80 yards and a pick.
Carroll's been just hovering over there in the top 25, a little bit inside, sometimes out. Can they get it going? Can they be consistent?
It's really going to depend on which Jack Pricka are we going to get. Are we going to get 16-24 for $179 and a touchdown with 28 yards and 2 touchdowns added on the ground? Or are we going to get the Jack Pricka that we sometimes get that turns the ball over and doesn't play very well?
Talk about a wake-up call for Rocky Mountain, though.
That really is. And that's
you are almost a guaranteed at-large if you win out.
Almost. And man, for the Frontier to get 2 teams in would have been huge.
Absolutely.
Then in our last game, a little bit of an injury issue here. Dalton Dale gets injured in the win against Langston. But man, I don't know that it would have mattered. Just like you said, Stephen, Carson Rogers comes in. He's 9 of 18 for 72 yards. But man, you're 2 of 14 on 3rd and 4th down conversions.
Louisiana Christian's known for it, though.
They
just get the random win.
Last year it was Langston.
Yes.
This year it's Tex West.
It's just, wow. It's crazy to see they have the potential. I watched the Louisiana Christian game. I think they were playing Stetson earlier in the year. One of the Pioneer schools. And they held their own for the first half. And you can see there's something there. I think the Sooner is starting to show there is parity there.
Yeah, there definitely is a lot of parity there. That's where it was so hard in the early part of the season, or in the preseason to pick somebody there.
Yeah.
So that was the week that was, but holy cow, what a week! We did not think we were going to get that good a week.
Absolutely crazy.
So,
yeah, I mean, that just shows you we're getting in the spooky season.
we are getting in spooky season. I mean, we talk about insanity here a little bit, and Mount Marty, team that's
there
been
in South
Yankton.
Dakota.
Yeah, been in South Dakota, been in Yankton for a while. Morningside got their first win against Mount Marty in about 100 years on Saturday.
And they really handled them.
Well, they did,
But
77-0.
let's talk about how Mount Marty is a winner here, Corey.
Absolutely. They have partnered with our friends at Leading Edge Fundraising. That's $122,000.
What was the timing for that, you think, Corey?
I don't know. I don't know if this was hour-a-thon or not, but son of a gun, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, that's taking care of your football team's travel for years to come. Whatever you want.
I just look at that and I go, man.
And they have nice facilities already. Mount Marty is a nice place.
They have
nice Catholic school.
I'll say it since there's probably not many Notre Dame fans in here.
Better uniforms.
They have
better Golden Dome helmets.
They have better helmets than Notre Dame, head to head. But thank you to Leading Edge for sponsoring our top 25 media poll.
Let's do it. Is that next?
That is up next, and it is going to be. Oh man, John, I don't know about you.
Yeah.
Last week was hard.
I think I know you've seen it. I haven't seen it. I think there's going to be a lot of switching around. Some drops here.
There's got to be in here with the week that was.
Right.
You've just got to have it.
Excuse me.
At number 25, you've got Arizona Christian, who comes up into the poll after defeating Texas College 81-19, sets a new program record.
Yes, and they're riding the wave since they beat Ottawa, Arizona. They're still riding that wave.
Montana Tech comes in after a win over Southern Oregon 45-21. They are up one spot. How about one that let's talk about number 23 here for a second. Kansas Wesleyan gets the dub and drops out of the coaches poll.
Right.
Moves up into the poll.
Dominated this past week.
Certainly. They won 62-0, tossing that goose egg up there on Tabor.
Who's been quality this year.
Yeah.
I think the KCAC, man, they're going to be loaded in this top 25 to end the season, I think.
We'll talk about Raiders later and what all that matters. I don't know who the Raider for the KCAC is.
Give them some love.
But I don't know. I mean, we'll take a look. We'll take a look at it when we look at the NAIA coaches poll.
Right.
I'm not sure we should be giving them some love. Rocky Mountain falls 9 spots to number 22 here in the poll.
Yeah, I think that's well deserved. I think if you get goose egged, that's a fair drop.
And Langston at number 21 rises 3 spots in the polls.
I would say some people, think they should have went a little higher. But imagine if they were 7-0 here. Do you think they're near the top 10?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Especially with all the chaos that's happened over the last few weeks. Auto of Arizona drops out of the poll, by the way, after that loss.
Yeah.
Number 20 is Roosevelt. They're
winning.
They beat Judson 56-12. Nice win there. They are. Let's see. Let's take a look at the MSFA here. They unfortunately they just don't have a shot anymore at this because of the loss against St. Xavier. Right. Yeah, Carroll.
You gotta hope that maybe an at-large comes and there's major chaos ahead of you.
You've got to,
especially if you're 6-1, man.
Yeah, that would suck.
If you sit at 9-1, you never know what could happen.
This is true. Carroll at number 19 takes a couple of spots in the polls after that nice win. They take 4 spots. And then, John, we have a 3-way tie for 16th between St. Xavier, Georgetown, and Bethel. St. Xavier rises 5 spots. Georgetown loses 5 spots. Bethel picks up 4.
That's huge. Really impressed with Bethel since they've had their one loss of the season. They've just been taking care of business, I thought. And St. Xavier as well, because we thought they were for dead at 0-2.
You talk about we thought they were done.
Yeah.
Holy cow, St. Xavier. All credit to Bethel here.
Absolutely.
It is not hard to go, or it is not easy to go from straight flexbone to the look that they're giving now.
Yeah, I think we're staring at a 3-way tie. Talking about a 3-way tie for 16. I think we might be staring at a 3-way tie for the KCAC.
I think it'll undo itself here. We will see it.
Right now, Avila holds the tiebreaker.
Yeah, absolutely. So Avila, if they win out, they've got it.
They get the playoff bid.
Yeah, well, yes,
regardless of rank.
Yeah, because they win the KCAC. Yes. Bethel needs an Avila loss. Southwestern needs a Bethel loss. Or if Southwestern wins out, then they get it over Avila, I think. I'd have to look.
If Bethel loses.
I think if they win, I'm going to have to recheck myself.
If it's a 3-way tie, I know it comes from point differential between the 3 teams. From the 3 games.
I'll have to look here because I do have a note there on that. In the top 15, we've got Midland coming up here, up 3 spots after their.
They play Northwestern soon, I believe.
Yes, they do to I think almost to end the season.
Year, yeah.
They beat Dakota Wesleyan 22-13. College of Idaho at number 14 drops 6 spots after that loss. Southwestern at 13.
Look at Avila, climbing up.
I think this is properly rated in our poll. 12, 13, 16.
I think so, too.
That's as good as you're going to
get. I
think
St. Thomas and Kaiser are properly rated as well.
And that's at 11 for St. Thomas, 10 for Kaiser.
I think our media poll nailed it this week. I'm not personally number 6 there. All right, well, let's go ahead. Tied for 8th, Marion and Reinhardt. I think that's fair. 7 Benedictines at a standstill.
I think that might be a little low for the Ravens, seeing how they've handled their business otherwise.
Yes. And you have Bethel at 8-0, sitting right there, waiting for that Lindsey Wilson matchup.
It's coming.
It's coming.
And then the top 5 is the top 5. We did get a switch of Indiana Wesleyan and Lindsey Wilson, which is fair, seeing that Lindsey Wilson struggled with Cumberland.
I think, honestly, Lindsey Wilson needs to be 6 right now.
They get their chance.
Show otherwise. Yeah,
Bethel gets their chance.
And I'm not saying that Lindsey Wilson cannot beat Bethel, but
right, they will
just for what your work resume has shown so far.
And that's and it's so weird to see a 7-0 team down there below 2 6-1 squads, but the quality of loss there is I hate using that term, but it's true.
The context means something.
It does. So you've got Lindsay, Indiana Wesleyan, Northwestern, Grandview, and Morningside. And, well, we will be back after this message.
Create and sell custom merch for your team or business. That's exciting, but where do you begin? How much inventory should you order? How do you distribute orders? AdCraft has your answers. Streamline the way you offer custom merch by utilizing our risk-free web store service. We ship directly to each customer, and we have the fastest turnaround in the game. Raise funds for your team or get merch to your employees and patrons. Contact AdCraft today, and let's bring your merch to life.
Nate Soapbeer mentions beautiful shot of Wilcox Stadium for the background as a good compensation for the Ravens being outside the top 5. I think
that's fair.
That's fair, and I do love the stadium. It's a beautiful one. But let's go to our player of the week. Oh man, Keaton freaking Dudek.
He's pretty common to be up here. First off, ignore the 306 yards, which is hard to ignore. I want you to pay attention to 33 attempts. Anytime a running back gets the ball over 30 times, that's a special dude. Number one, you are the dude. I mean,
You do beat that dude.
You know what I'm saying? You're tough enough to get the ball 33 times. In reality, it's 35. Add the 2 receptions to it. The fact that you had 35 touches, and then the production with it, unbelievable.
Normally, I wouldn't throw in the receptions. I'd probably just note that it would be a receiving touchdown. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
He was the leading receiver for Sagu.
Well, when you run for 306 yards, you can do whatever you want.
You daggum straight. And then on the other side of the ball, we've got the statesman, Marquise Knighton.
The big man.
Getting there with a forced fumble, 3 sacks among 4.5 tackles for loss, and 11 tackles overall.
You're not controlling his gap. Look at that guy. He is huge.
He is.
You think you're driving him off the ball, Corey?
You know what I think?
You think you're double teaming that guy?
You know what we should call him? Snacks Jr.
Snacks Jr.
Snacks Jr. I love it. Shout out to Damon Harrison. Oh man, we're gonna go quickly a little bit through the what to watch for because we got a lot of fun stuff. What to watch for? Not terribly much this week. We have 2 matchups in the top 25: Rocky Mountain, Montana Tech.
This is huge to stay in the playoff contention.
And then Lindsey Wilson and Bethel.
This is a reminder of Northwestern Morningside.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see Lindsey Wilson or Bethel dropping another game unless it's to each other. I just want to see a great football game there. I'm going to go with my preseason pick, which is Bethel. I knew they had something special coming. Coach Jasper's been waiting out in the wind, getting it going, and he's finally found his year since a couple years ago when they had that undefeated regular season. Can they finish it?
We'll have to see.
They finish the regular season?
We will have to see because that's going to be going. Some other games to watch, especially if you like to watch people hoisting trophies.
Yes.
Is our conference championship watch.
Let's do it.
Dickinson State clinches the North Star for the 472nd consecutive year.
I'm about to say, I don't even remember the actual amount of years right now. It's up there with Morningside.
I mean, 472 is a good approximation at this point. Winning games in the 1700s. And Pete Stanton might have been there for all of them.
Absolutely.
Shout out to Coach Pete. They clinch with the win over Valley City State. That is the one really clear-cut one.
Right.
Now, the one that's going to be interesting is the AAC. Reinhardt clinches with a win and a point loss. Now, when's the last dadgum time that anybody's
been in contention in Reinhardt's conference?
Well, that we're saying that point has to get out of the way in a week for Reinhardt, right? That is, so you've got Reinhardt, St. Andrews, and Point Kentucky Christian. If Point wins, then it goes down to next week.
Right.
And
shout out to that Point program, the improvement they've had.
Dadgum, Trevor Ziders has them boys getting it. Now, here's the one that chaos. If this happens this week, it'll happen next week for sure. But chaos. Morningside clinches with a win and Northwestern and Midland losses. If they do that this week, look, we got bigger problems.
I don't think we even have to worry about this. Fun slide, but I don't think we have to worry about this.
I threw it in here for the fun. But let's talk about, since we're getting into bracketology season, let's talk about the poll and the structure of how the coaches poll votes. So the coaches poll has these area ranking committees.
Yes.
Probably butchered that acronym, but these are a little old. The Mid-South Conference here, when you see ARC4 Mid-South Conference, think Mid-South, Sun, and AAC. Yep. John Perry says, Point has grown, but they ain't ready. Well, boy can dream. So this is how it goes. Your area rater for that section rates those teams in his section 1 through whatever. And when you get that as a coach, you can't flip-flop those teams in that area.
Right.
They have to stay as they are. So Heart of America and KCAC are together. GPAC and MSFA are together. And the Southern teams are together. So what this creates is take a look at here, especially when we're looking at 10 Southwestern, 13 Bethel, 17 Avila. Yeah. That's tricky, and I don't think they got it right.
No, I think hopefully, normally the Raiders shape up before the season ends. So
Yeah.
the picture comes a little clearer. Let's hope it keeps going that way.
Absolutely, and I'm not sure about Roosevelt at 15. I know they're 6-1, but I'm just not sure about that right there. And St. Thomas at 19 seems.
Yeah, especially it's like they're blinded to the fact that it's like look at Kaiser at 5-3 at 19. They're blinded to the fact that they're 5-0 in NAIA
or 16 that TV cuts it off. Yeah, they're blinded by those other losses. Right. Even though Valdosta State's not having a good year this year.
But still, it's
Valdosta freaking State.
Yeah.
And I saw them boys in person. They're big. But let's talk about some bracketology. Oh boy, we got bracketology. John, I'm calling some locks. I'm gonna lock these down, and these are the ones
That's half the field, Corey. You have locked down. Are we sure?
I know.
Are we
first
sure?
time.
8 out of 16 in October. I agree with you.
Morningside. One, they're not losing out.
Right. No, they're going undefeated.
Two, even if they dropped a game.
I would bet my life, not my life, but I'd bet the deed to my house that Morningside finishes the regular season undefeated. I mean,
I'm not a sure thing about
anything. I can't
anything.
even remember. I think the last time Morningside lost a regular season game was Wisconsin and Whitewater to D3 power.
Oh, jeez.
And that was like 2014. I would pop a Dolan check. Can you fact check us? Can you go to the Morningside schedule of 2014 and tell us when that Wisconsin White? I think that was the last regular season loss.
Holy cow!
So
how I don't have Reinhardt as a lock? We'll get there. Grandview, they're a lock. Lindsay and Bethel, I think, are both locks. Even when one loses, I think the other wins out. Papa Dolanchek says he's on it. I think they still get in. Northwestern's getting in. Indiana Wesleyan's getting in. Benedictine's getting in. Marion's getting in.
Now, I agree with all that. But with Mr. Perry there in the comments, I will say I do think Reinhardt is a lock. Even if they lost, they will win that conference.
Yeah, and they'll stay in the top 20.
They'll stay in the top 20.
And so we'll see them shortly.
So that's 9 out of 16.
So let's take a look at that. So you've got one of Lindsay, Bethel, Northwestern, and Marion. You've eaten 3 at-larges.
Right.
Here's my near locks. The lock's still open.
I like the image. Yeah.
It's almost there. College of Idaho, Reinhardt. College of Idaho wins out. They're good. Reinhardt wins out. They're golden.
I think College Idaho, you've already cashed in your insurance policy. There's no more accidents left.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, there are some teams with some work to do.
I agree.
The KCAC, whoever's going to win that, is getting in. But all 3 of Avila, Bethel, and Southwestern have work to do. I think Kansas Wesleyan's done.
Avila's sitting in the driver's seat. I'd say Kansas Wesleyan fans, you still have some hope. Very slim, but, very slim. But I think Avila's got the upper hand because they had the point differential between Southwestern and Bethel. They ended up, I think, with a plus 14 point differential, and the other 2 are in single digits. So if Avila wins out, they are your KCAC representative. Whether that happens or not, we don't know. Right now, the Sooner, Langston, you have the upper hand.
Yeah, Langston's got the upper hand, but
and I don't think they have much left on the schedule, do they?
Let me look real quick.
They got to play Texas Wesleyan still, right?
No, they lost to Texas Wesleyan.
That's right.
So they've got
Arizona
LC,
Christian left.
Arizona
and the
Christian.
Giant killer, known as Louisiana Christian.
Yep. So you've still got
they got work.
Right. So here's the Sooner picture. Langston wins with 2 wins and a Tex West loss, or with 3 wins. Else, there's chaos.
Right.
Now, I also think that the MSFA Midwest champion has some work to do.
Which is St. Xavier, but, I mean, if we look up their schedule, I don't think anybody impressive is left on there.
I think they
I
still
think they're getting
have.
close to lock territory.
They still
They have
have
St.
Francis, which
I'd
still has a path.
I'd say those are 3 wins though. Which I think a lot of St. Francis, Illinois. Don't get me wrong. They're freaking huge. But
USF wins with 2 wins as long as one of those is St. Xavier.
I just got a weird feeling about St. Xavier though. You don't go 0-2 and just start winning out of nowhere just to lose at the end.
No, you don't.
You just don't do that.
But you've got to get the work done against St. Francis. If you lose to St. Francis, oh dear.
Yeah.
Now, here's the teams where the bubble is still there. You're on it, but your bubble is still there.
Yeah, I think Kaiser, guys, I know we went over the media poll, but as Cory pointed out, this is about the coaches poll, and Kaiser is down there. And Dickinson State is at what in the coaches poll, Cory? Last
21.
week, 23. Now they're 21. So they're getting safer.
Yes.
If they win this week, they're in.
Yeah, there's a little bit of home cooking there.
If you are hoping for an at-large bid, you are praying these 2 lose.
Yep, absolutely. Now, here's the 4 that I think that their bubble has burst. I think Georgetown's bubble has burst. Now, they're the first one out to me. So if you're Georgetown, you're rooting for Valley City, and you're rooting for whoever Kaiser is playing.
I agree.
I don't think USF of Illinois as a conference champ gets in.
I agree, but I don't think they have to worry about it.
I don't think they do either, but I do want to, because of the fact that we've got the Midwest as still needing work.
Right.
I'm gonna put them in there, but I still think they'd be the next one out as opposed to the number 3 KCAC team. Even though it's going to be tough, they'd have that win over St. Francis or over St. Xavier.
Right.
And then the Sooner number 2 team is last on this list.
I'd say historically that's been true with the Sooner. And as crazy as it is, NAIA goes off of recent history a lot.
All right. So what gets Bethel of Kansas in? All right. I happen to have that
Go ahead.
right here. So Bethel wins with 2 wins. They win the conference with 2 wins and an Avila loss. Right now, do you think the coaches are going to get the KCAC right by the end of the season?
Man, if the KCAC, if they don't get 2 teams in, what a sham. I think the 4th at-large team should be if they take care of business. If it's a 1-loss KCAC team, I think they deserve a second team in. I shouldn't say it's a sham because it is tough getting these at-larges in, especially when we know 3 out of the 4 is probably already taken up.
Here's one we didn't talk about is Roosevelt, that 1-loss team. We did talk about them a little bit earlier, but not here.
And I think it's also important to point out that if you didn't take care of business to give yourself the automatic bid and you're relying on the at-large, I think, honestly, it's like putting the games in the referee's hand. You cannot do it. Historically, I know we don't want to talk about it because I've been griping about the NAIA having recency bias, but you don't have low-seeded teams in the playoffs, which I know they reseed after every round. Make a run.
That's
very
true. I mean, that's a Roosevelt team whose only loss is a 1-point loss to St. Xavier.
I will say, I think Roosevelt's had a very, nice schedule.
They beat Concordia.
I think a lot of people have beaten Concordia.
Well, fine. We'll see in November because they play at St. Francis and versus Olivet Nazarene.
Yeah.
Right? So, yes. Now, if you win those 2 games, we start really talking about Roosevelt again.
Yeah.
what gets Bethel in, you're going to need Dickinson State to lose, and you're going to need Kaiser to lose.
I think you just got to hope that Ava loses and you finish out, which is a realistic possibility.
Yeah, you've got to root for either Southwestern or Bethel loss.
Which is
or
also realistic.
Ava
Ava clears the table.
Exactly.
Cleans the slate. But I think for Bethel, you got to be that worst-case scenario, winning games huge, at least be that second KCAC team, and just hope that larges work out. There's going to be one spot available. And then, like you said, it can't hurt to hope that Kaiser or Dickinson State lose.
Yeah.
You're going from 4 at-larges to maybe 5, maybe 6 if major chaos happens.
Yeah, and
since we've been covering it, I think we've only had one conference champion left out.
Yes, and that would be
Southeastern.
The first year we did this. We've never seen in the National Selection Committee era having...
And that's 4 years running now?
I think this will be the third year of the National Selection Committee.
No, this is
20,
the fourth, right?
21, and 22, because it started in that COVID season.
Okay, yeah.
Because they were wanting to push back.
Okay.
The National Selection Committee to 21, but the NAI said, no, we're gonna do it. Boy, I love this next slide. It's my favorite, and it's the list of the people who support us.
Did we get another one? Holy cow!
We did. We actually got we had one person who let go, and we got 2 newbies, Bolterama and Julie Lout. Thanks, guys, for joining up. And man, we
really appreciate it.
We really do. I mean, we can't say that enough.
I don't know how many people that is. 33.
Yeah, I think it's actually 36. But
36. Yeah. The fact that 36 people believe in what we do and are willing to throw $1 our way to help us get to the national championship game, help set up a live show like this, and to give NAI football some representation overall is just a huge thing. I don't talk about my playing days as much, but in 2010 to 2013, the lack of education of even NAIA football players themselves, Corey, they didn't realize what was outside of their fishbowl. Their fishbowl was just the conference teams they played. They go home, and they would say, "Oh, you're playing Georgetown Hoyas, huh?" And I was like, "Yeah, no, this is Georgetown, Kentucky. The Cincinnati Bengals come over and hang out at their facilities." Just the education, I feel like, since we've been around, and this isn't just us. We got great NAI representation for basketball, baseball, lacrosse, and just independent outlets doing that. And then just hats off to the players, and then the aspect of recruiting increasing to where, and the schools themselves making them an appealing brand. Just the fact that NAI's football is in a lot better place in 2022 than it was, say, in 2012. And that's awesome, and it's awesome that 36 people believe in this.
Absolutely, and we're so thankful for them. Read them off: DSU Cone, Danielle Quinn, Darren Baboon, Roger Meyer, Jeremy Vauble, Shirley Labella, Fred Christensen, Alex Garcia, Jerry Quickle, Jody Hoagland, Austin Steele, Cordell, Acewell, and Marty Seabolt, Justin Cobb, Dane, Nick Ryan, Hayden Ferrigno, Jeff, Kyle Gregory, Tyler Pierce, Justin Hoffman, Steve Speakman, Coach D67, Brian Shake, Lance DeMond, Frank Dolancheck, Julianne Shager, JGLB43, Nate Soapbeer, Stephen Cutler, Stephen Dale, Bolterama, and Julie Lout. Now, another thing that we don't typically say because, well, it feels kind of self-serving is our YouTube channel and how close we are to 1,000.
If you're still here watching, please hit the subscribe button. I know most of you guys.
It's about 50-50,
yeah.
Actually. It's kind of crazy. About 50% of the people who watch aren't subscribed. So if you're not subscribed, please.
I think we're less than 200 away at this point.
We are 198 right now from hitting the magical 1,000 number. And John, let me tell you, when we hit that 1,000 number, I'm just going to be steady, streaming our stuff so that we can hit the other magical number of 4,000 watch hours.
Yeah.
Because when we hit those two,
I
don't know that we'll get a whole lot from YouTube, but every little bit helps, honestly.
Yeah, and That's helping us not having to ask so much for our patrons and
exactly.
sponsors.
Precisely. So thank you to the 802. Y'all are amazing. And this is the perfect place if you're a current player to drop us the sub. It means so much.
Yes.
And man, players, we don't need you to be a patron. You got other things you got to pay for.
Yeah, you got food to eat, you know what I'm saying?
Right, exactly.
College to pay for.
But you know what? A sub don't cost anything at all, and it helps us watching our live show, like streaming our old live shows.
Yeah.
And getting our watch hours up. Surprisingly, we'll do a whole
leave it on in the background.
Just leave it on in the background.
Let me put you to sleep.
Absolutely. You know, and you guys at work, just pop us on in a at work tab and leave it going all day.
Put it on at the sports bar.
Dang right. So we are so thankful for all y'all do to help keep us going. Let's see what we've got. See if we've got anything else in. Schwaz getting in there. Subscribe to the channel. Schwaz knows where his bread is buttered.
Absolutely.
Schwaz the intern knows who butters that bread. Yeah, Mustang fans, subscribe. Yeah, absolutely. So let's see. I'll check the comments, see if there's any other questions. We always like to take questions here
Absolutely.
at the end. It's always super fun to do. Dakota Wesleyan fans. Y'all should do like a competition. Schwaz, Papa Dolanchek, y'all play this weekend. Let's see who can get the most Mustang or Tiger fans to subscribe as a competition ahead of the football game on Saturday. Do the old school, boys versus girls raising money for missions idea.
Schwaz, you better be doing your curls for the girls this week. You better eat those Wheaties, man.
I'm telling you, they my man just needs a carry.
Absolutely.
He needs
to turn their season around.
Number 40 needs a carry.
Yes.
But all right, if there's not going to be any other comments, we are so thankful that y'all stuck around with us till the end. For John Cooper, I am Corey Thorpe, and we are signing off.
Have a good night, guys.